I feel that I could write a book about how to get yourself through the times when you're in a relationship with toxic people and you cannot get out. So if that's something that resonates with you, this tips and my story is for you. I'll start off by saying that no people are born toxic or wrong, meaning that if any person is treating you badly, at the same time, this exact person can be a great husband, great friend to someone, have beautiful relationships with their colleagues, and even be a big inspiration for some community of people. Which leads us to the conclusion that toxic relationships is not about toxic people, it's about the relationships between the two. As any of us, I've had classmates, colleagues, friends, partners, family members that were toxic to me, and I'll share one of the stories. Some long time ago, I worked at a beauty store as a consultant, and I've had this one colleague. We were the same age, younger than the rest of the team, but we were totally opposite of one another. We had different life views, the ways we dress, even the color of our hair was different. We were not friends. We didn't have any close relationships at all, mostly because she was not the kind of person who would put any filter on her speech. She always felt the need to say truly and sincerely what she felt about you or anyone else, while others perceived her lenitely and never took her words to the heart. For me, it was extremely uncomfortable to even be in the same space with her. I remember trying to put my shifts on the different days so we wouldn't work together in the shop alone, or I tried to communicate as little as I could with her because at the time that was my coping mechanism. I was trying to close inside of myself as much as I could to make sure that whatever this person says does not attack me, but it was insulting me. It was bringing me emotional damage. And that was the reason why I initially started therapy, because of this person, because I had such complicated relationships with her that I had no idea how to deal with it. I could not protect my boundaries. I remember her saying one day, "I wonder if you hate me or you just really don't care." I'm sure that you can relate to that and can remember at least one individual with whom you had such relationships. So let's move on to the steps that helped me and that will definitely help you to get over such situations and to fix these relationships. Step 0, I do not call it a step 1 because it's not available for everyone, but it's the most important, and it is going to therapy or counseling. I'm sure that not everyone has the mental space to start it or the funds to help with it, but I personally started free counseling as a form of mental support based on the university I was attending at the time, and it helped me a lot. The real step 1 is starting to set your boundaries, and I know how hard it is. It's the most basic advice of all, but starting with the small things leads to big things being less uncomfortable for you to do. And the thing that helped me at that moment is wrapping my boundaries in humor. It's the easiest way to go because the person might not fully understand that you're setting the boundary, but trying to make it in a jokingly way always helped me personally, and I hope that that would help you. Like, "Oh, thanks girl, I didn't need your compliment," or something like that. The reason I think why some people who have toxic abilities start to use you or treat you worse than anyone else is because from the very beginning, from the get-go, you did not show them the room that they're in with you, the boundaries that you have. And that is the reason why people keep pushing and pushing this boundary further away to make sure that at some point of your life, you have no boundaries at all with them. The step 2 is the healthy ideal step, I guess, is sincere and honest talk. I deeply believe that 99% of the world problems and the problems that we have with anything in our life can be absolutely fixed by an honest talk. You can just find the time with this person to have a chat and just honestly and sincerely explain your feelings to them. Of course, the basic principle of this talk should be speaking from your point of view and describing your emotions and feelings. Because if you're two grown-up people, I think there is nothing wrong with face forwarding what exactly is happening inside of you as a reaction to this person's actions or words. And that could definitely bring down this person's guard, and this person can say, "I have this or that complications in my life, and treating you badly actually helps me to feel better and helps me to forget about the problems that I have with myself or in my life." That should be very beneficial. I regret that I didn't do it with that colleague, but such sincere and direct talk would never hurt. Step 3 is getting support of others. I shared my experience of working with her, not only with the other members of the team, but I actually went to the manager and I expressed how hard it is and difficult it is to work for me with her. Nevertheless, it did not change the situation anyhow. I felt that I was heard, that I was understood, and that other people feel exactly the same about the communication with this individual. So at least, even though the manager didn't do anything, was aware of the situation and was aware of what's happening inside the team. Step 4 is my favorite step. If nothing changes, try to leave the situation. I personally believe that long exposure to toxic, unhealthy, and broken relationship messes with your mental health. And the most important thing we have besides our physical bodies is self-perception, self-worth, and self-love. At that time, I've made a decision to finish working at that beauty shop, and that was one of the best decisions in my life. I quit. I said directly that I will not be working in such circumstances, and if anything changes, this person decides to leave the job, I'll be glad to be back. And of course, I never was back. By staying in mentally draining and emotionally damaging situations, you're actually teaching your brain that this is normal. As you all know, you get used to everything, the good and the bad. Why stay in the bad if you can change the situation towards something better? And step 5 would be to learn your lesson. There is no sense in trying to change this other person or explain something to them or confront them and start a big conflict. The most important thing you can do is to reflect on what were you in this situation doing, how did you react, why the situation ended up being the way it is, and was there anything that you could do to prevent it? At the end of the day, all of this comes to your boundaries. How you present yourself from the very start of the communication is extremely important. That influences the way that you get perceived, not only by this possible toxicity in this relationship, but other people as well. The people that surround you on the day-to-day basis, they see and understand how you get treated by somebody else, and they can take this exact strategy and use it with you again. So be very aware from now on how you'll behave with other people when you start getting the signs of toxicity from someone else. And the latest extra step for those who watched until this part and are really dedicated to healing from it is asking yourself, to whom have you been toxic? And why? You could see the situation from the opposite angle and possibly find new ways to behave in such situations and generally become kinder. It's so easy to be blaming somebody else and thinking that they are the bad guy. Very often we treat other people badly too. We're rarely aware of it and we do not accept the responsibility of treating somebody badly. So I hope any of these tips were insightful for you. Let me know what you think and I will be grateful to continue this discussion in the comments. As always, I'm Maya and I'll see you next time. Bye!